Some places feel like they've been waiting for you. And some places feel like they've been waiting for you with an unexpected squirrel guide. After our quiet, reservation-required morning at Paletki, we made our short hop over to the wonderful site known as Honanki. Now this site does not require reservations, which meant it was a little more of a bustling heritage spot vibe than the secluded one at Paletki. But don't let that scare you away, because Honanki is every bit worth it. When we arrived at the site after driving through some of the most beautiful whispering canyons, we checked in with the ranger and got the lowdown on the trail and set off under a canopy of beautiful trees. Now, being it was July, the weather was warm, but it was actually very pleasant because the shade of this canyon made it feel like you were stepping into nature's own air conditioning. Plus, there was also a storm on the way, which really cooled down the valley and gave it kind of this otherworldly glow. Now this trail winds through and bends through the trees and had you wondering if you were taking a wrong turn because you couldn't really see the ruins from any part of the trail except for one little spot if you knew where to pay attention. Now the trail can be a little bit confusing because you can go to the right or left in one section, but it all connects in the end. But before we knew it, we were at the Honanki Ruins. The Honanki Ruins is a massive, layered cliff dwelling built right into the rock face under this alcove, like an ancient apartment complex with a $1 million view. The Sinagua people, which were the ancestors of the Hopi is what we believe, lived here between 1150 to about 1350 AD. Honanki, which means bear house in Hopi, though some records translate it as badger house, so we're not really sure what the correct meaning is. Either way, it sounds like a place you don't want to show up without an invite. Here, as you can imagine, families once cooked over open fires, crafted tools from stone, leather, and wood, and farmed the land below. It was believed that deer and rabbit were once the main entrees, but eventually there was really much more of the wild plants and crops that they tended nearby. As I stated earlier, the ruins are really well hidden in the canyon walls themselves, that if you didn't know where they were, you might walk on past. But think about it like it would have been all those years ago. So the trees that you've been walking through are probably rather young, so to speak. If you lived here at Honanki, the wood would be a main source for many things. Besides building material, obviously, for roofs and things of that nature, it's also your firewood. So most likely, this was completely without any of those trees whatsoever, and it was all open farming land, which means that the ruins at the time that they were being used were probably rather visible. Which makes you wonder if maybe that was the reason they left, was they were running out of firewood and they had to go further and further and further away to get those resources to just do basic tasks. I don't know, it's a theory. Now besides obviously the ruin that's here, there is also rock art. Now it's not as much as you find over at Paletki, but it is possible that some of these are dating as far back as 5000 BC. Which tells stories that we can only guess at today. Similar to the other sites in the region, there are shapes, animals, and mysterious symbols that stretch across the sandstone surface. I like to think of these walls as their history books, their bulletin boards, and maybe even their social media. Of course, people didn't have hashtags like we do now, but if they did, I'm sure they would be epic. Now when we got to the main part of the building, there was this squirrel. We spotted him lounging on a ledge like he owned the place, snacking on what looked like a pine cone of sorts. He locked eyes with us, completely unfazed, as to say, finally, you've made it. I know all the answers. Of course, we didn't follow him because that would be going off trail and into the site, which is completely not allowed, and also you'd look a little crazy following a rodent. So needless to say, we just looked at the side around him and let him enjoy his snack. So do you think the squirrel's the tour guide?
I think he's just enjoying his lunch.
We're not allowed to eat up there. Why do you get to eat up there? You're special? Oh. He's special. You're very special.
Zoom in on his butt. He's very looking. He likes to look at you.
YouTube, say hi to the squirrel. He's eating his lunch on some ancient ruins. He looks like a very happy squirrel. As we stood there soaking up the history and the view, we started to hear the low rumble through the canyon. Now, if you've ever been in desert canyons, you know that thunder makes you instantly aware of how far you are from your raincoat and if you are in any drainages. We decided that our time was up here at Honanki and that because there is a small stream bed that goes through there, it was best to head back to the truck, which was on higher ground, just in case of flash flooding. We made it back dry. It didn't really rain on us, but you never know and you have to play it safe, especially with desert canyons. But back at the truck, we inhaled a quick lunch while the clouds stacked overhead and had that "it's about to pour" shade of gray. We reflected about Honanki as we were getting ready for our next adventure. Honanki isn't just a stop on the way to somewhere else. It's a chance to step straight into the lives of the people who called this canyon home centuries ago. Whether you're here for the history, the rock art, or just a run-in with one of the most confident squirrels in Arizona, this is a place that just sticks with you. That's it for this adventure, but if you liked this video, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends, and we will be out there with another epic trail here soon. But bye for now.